On. Okay, today, on this podcast, I normally have a lot of fighters, I have a lot of PTs, I have a lot of nutritionists, and I have a lot of doctors. But Steve, I just want to say today, you are the first ever MMA coach that I've ever had on this podcast. So, Steve, welcome, man. How you doing?
Yeah, good. Thanks. No pressure then. First one on.
uh, well, the thing is, man, let me give you a little bit of insight. Like, I've been running this podcast with my best friend for just over a year now, and we've got all the equipment that we have at home at his place. But the issue is we're trying to get past the barrier of, getting people on, because we have such a limited equipment. We're still quite young, so we're still going to stick to Zoom calls for the time being. So, and like we said, we're trying to get as many people as we can on from like the Perth MMA community, Perth health and fitness community. So it's good to finally branch out to a coach, man. I just wanted to start off by asking you, man, like, you've been very popular lately amongst the Perth MMA community because you've got some absolute killers coming out of your gym, the Wolves Den. And I wanted to ask you, man, like, where did this all start? What was your background in MMA?
So I've been doing this for about 35 years. I know I don't look that old, but yeah, I've been doing it quite a while. So yeah, I started when I was like 8, and I started in Taekwondo. I begged my mum to take me to it, and then I ended up going to Taekwondo, and then as soon as I started training and something I just loved, like from the very beginning, I was quite natural at it. Then I just progressed through there. So like once I got my black belt in Taekwondo, I was competing on quite a high level, with my dream to go to the Olympics in Taekwondo, but it never eventuated. I won nationals and things like that, but I never ended up getting there. And then I sort of wanted to change to something more full contact, and ended up going to Muay Thai training, like Thai boxing. At the same time, it was a boxing gym as well, so we started doing that. And then the very first UFC came out, and that's how long ago it was. So the UFC came out, everyone started thinking, what's this jiu-jitsu? Brazilian jiu-jitsu. So I started like training jiu-jitsu wherever I could. I had to travel and train in that. And that's how it started from, and then just competing in MMA and Muay Thai. And then, just been doing it ever since. So yeah, quite a long time now. I've been involved in martial arts, and hopefully I'll see me through until later in age as well.
Wow. Okay. So just right off the bat, you've obviously had a very few styles from a very, very young age. What style of Taekwondo did you do?
It was like WTF Taekwondo. So it was like mostly kicking. I thought I could punch at the time, but then when you moved to Muay Thai, I realized I couldn't really punch very well. My boxing wasn't that good, so it was something I had to work on. But yeah, very, very fast paced. It is full contact in that system. Now you can knock people out and things, and but yeah, you wear the padding. It's one that's in the Olympics at the moment, that sort of style, and all the punches were to the body. But you can kick to the body, kick to the head, and you can go as hard as you want. A lot of people win on points, some people win back via knockout. But then I wanted to like round my game out, so I wanted to start doing boxing, start doing like Thai boxing, and I really fell in love with that when I finished doing Taekwondo. And I've done that for the last 23-4 years, and then doing jiu-jitsu the same as well. I just love it all. I love being able to do everything. I love the fact that MMA like combines everything. You find when you do all these disciplines, the principles are all the same, even though they look very, very different. When you're doing wrestling, jiu-jitsu, Thai boxing, a lot of the principles you teach are the same. So it's just pretty cool to teach across all the disciplines.
Wow. So Thai boxing, Taekwondo, jiu-jitsu, and did I miss one?
MMA,
MMA, of course.
Oh, I did like a few years of freestyle wrestling. Obviously still do wrestling now for MMA. I did a couple of years of judo, but the main 4 disciplines I've done for the majority of my life would be Brazilian jiu-jitsu, boxing, Thai boxing, and then obviously MMA, putting it all together with the wrestling.
Mm-hmm. Now, as a coach, obviously you want to help learn all the skills into your fighters and all that. Of all the disciplines, obviously you've come across a variety of disciplines. Which one would you say had been the most influential in your teaching?
I don't think I'll put down to one really. I mean, I think wrestling is very important because it shows you where the fight can go. Like if you're a good wrestler, but you got some striking. You can stop the takedown. You can do the takedown. Like you can get to where you want to be. But I think you still need to have decent strikes and you need to have decent ground game to get off the floor or to be able to submit on the floor, get top position. So I wouldn't like to say one of them was the most influential. I probably competed mostly in Thai boxing and MMA. But yeah, I wouldn't like to say one would sit out. I think you have to be good at everything. If you're good at everything, you can get to a very high level. But you get these outliers who are like really high level kickboxers or really high level jiu-jitsu guys or really high level wrestlers, and they're able to adapt and move over because they've got this really strong skill set. But I think like if you can get good at everything, you don't have to be the best, but you get good at everything, I think you can go pretty far.
Interesting. Okay. And then from the time that when you started in your first martial art in Taekwondo, and then as you progress further on down the line, and now you've got your own place called the Wolves Den, which is a phenomenal name for a gym, probably one of the best names you've come up with. What was now, because I like the name so much, what was the inspiration behind the name?
Well, when I used to fight in Thai boxing, my fight name was the Wolf, but it was all like I was just being really into wolves and stuff. And I thought the way the community is at the gym, it's very much a pack mentality. And I thought it'd be really a cool name. And obviously when I got the design done for everything, it was just, I wanted really plain and really simple and just something that would be just a really cool name as well, you know? So that was sort of like the behind it, having that pack mentality, that community mentality. Everyone helps each other out. If we're all competing, you know, it's not just about one person, it's about the team. We build the team, we build the pack. We're all going to get stronger, we're all going to get better, and then, you know, going to take over.
Awesome. I like that. That's awesome, man. Now, obviously, last year, we're still now going through a pandemic. Last year, we went through a lockdown, and I understand it was a really hard time for everybody. You know, we were forced to shut down, all gyms were forced to close. Without getting like too personal, like, what did you do as a gym owner and as a coach to adapt to the situation which we had last year?
Well, to be fair, I mean, Perth, we've been pretty lucky with the pandemic. And before, so I've been running this gym for like about 11 years now. But the first part of it, 10 years, it wasn't the Wolves then, it was Mac 1. Have you heard of Mac 1?
Yeah, Mac
cool.
1, yeah.
So I was there with the owner, Harvey Heskin. We had the gym together. And I was always the head coach at Junlock, and we built it up and we got it really, really good over those 10 years. And when we hit the pandemic, I decided to branch off and open the Wolves Den, which is at the time I was thinking this is either the worst mistake of my life, like trying to like branch off and rebrand as the Wolves Den during the pandemic, or it's going to be a good thing. And to be fair, it's the way it's gone, it's the best thing I've ever done. Like the last year has just gone insane. Like the fight team's got stronger than ever. Like that's in jiu-jitsu, in the MMA, the Muay Thai, everything's got really a lot stronger. The community's just got a lot tighter. The vibes got really good. So it's a bit nerve-wracking when I did it, even though I've been running it for the last 10 years. We just decided over that close period, when we finished that, I rebranded as Wolves Den, and I've just been going ever since as that. And we've been busier than ever, to be fair.
Wow. That sounds like, to me, when you put it there, you thought what was going to be a terrible idea turned into the best idea ever, really. So.
Yeah. It was going to get, I was going to do it at some point anyway, but then we ended up doing it at that point. And it just went, it's just gone from strength to strength, to be fair. It's gone really, really, really good. I can't complain, just busier than ever. The vibe is just amazing at the moment. And then just like, I've just got a group of killers in there now over all the disciplines, and it's just getting better. That's
great to hear you. That is true, definitely. As I mentioned before the podcast, I had Brian Jankowski on, I think it was a couple of weeks ago, and he was telling me about the strong mentality of the gym, because I live strongly by the idea that show me your friends and I'll show you your future. And if you're around in the community where everyone's got the desire to get better, or everyone's like got a desire to get stronger, then you too will grow with them. But however, if there's also another saying, which is, if you run with the lame, you develop a limp, meaning that if the people around you are bring you down, then you too will be brought down as well. So your connections, your network is so important. Now, I wanted to ask you, because he highly speaks of this community that you got going on, like what are some of the things you do as a gym owner to help like build that community?
We're just trying to make sure that, as I said before, the Wolves Den, we're trying to have this like pack mentality where we're helping. If we build everyone up as we're in the gym, whereas if we're not like, I'm gonna just look after myself and this person's gonna look after themselves and we're just gonna train together, but there's no vibe and community there, we're never gonna like build each other up and get better. But if I myself or the trainers or even the students can help everyone build up a little bit, now you've got like all these upcoming killers are going to make you better as well. So we try and make that ethos in the gym where we're building everyone up, and eventually someone who's come in and didn't even know what they were doing with the left foot and the right foot, next minute the problems, on the mat or the problems in the ring, and just going to make you better. And that's what you got to do. You got to build up the team. It's not just about you, it's about the whole team itself, So even though you're in there competing by yourself, we try and have the mentality to help each other out, and we do. So say some guys or the girls are competing, the ones who are not competing will help them out. So then when they get to that stage or they're going to compete in the next one, they'll help them out. And it's just amazing to see the development from someone coming in who's like super unconfident, maybe don't know the left from the right, really uncoordinated, just progress and just changing to absolute different human beings. That's the most rewarding thing. You must know yourself being a PT, just the development of people just over a few months, never mind a few years, and how they just change as individuals and how they progress, not just in the martial arts, but in the personal life and how they present themselves. So that's what we try and like promote through. I mean, for instance, say Courtney, one of my fighters in the gym, Courtney Martin, she started with me just for a bit of fitness, just wanted to train. And then after like a small period, not really a long period, then I started seeing potential, and then she said, I think I want to compete. Then she had her first MMA fight. Then within 18 months, she'd racked up numerous MMA fights, boxing, Muay Thai. We'd gone to the World Championships and Gamma World Championships in MMA in Singapore. I was one of the coaches for the Australian team, and she won the Worlds. And not only did she win the Worlds, she was given the contract for the one championship. So to come from like absolute nothing and not know anything, like not know how to throw a punch or a kick, and then really sort of plodding along, just training, but then over 18 months get to that stage, that's just changed someone's whole life, you know what I mean? Like, and it's really rewarding as a trainer.
Wow. So she made the progress that Courtney Martin made the progress, and that she just being just typical average gym girl, wanted to come in, just wanted to get involved. In 18 months down the track, get a contract to fight in a professional MMA organization.
Well, the biggest one, other than UFC, is the biggest one in the world, So it's an amazing thing. And out of when we went to World Championships, there was like 50, 60 countries. There was like maybe 300 athletes or something. And there was only one male and one female from the whole thing was going to get a contract with one. And she not only won the Worlds, like she won the contract because she was looked like she had the most potential to compete, So it's just as an example. I mean, and some people come in that don't want to compete. They want to come and just learn how to fight, protect themselves and get fit. But you see their life just change. And again, like just like super rewarding. And that's why I just love doing what I do, So if we try and have that ethos with everyone, we're just going to get stronger and stronger. And that's the idea behind it.
I think that's a very, very strong ethos. I mean, especially how you can take someone and then turn them into pretty much a professional fighter like that. When you are trying to get this person to like transition into competing, like what as a coach are you looking for specifically?
Well, you're looking for like a certain, it's not even the skill set. Sometimes the people are pretty raw, but you see how they start learning to develop stuff and they start to pick up something really quickly. Or when they start to do a bit of sparring or rolling, you're starting to see potential in their mental attitude as well. I think, oh man, I could really mold this person. They really go for it. They really want to do it. They're really keen. And you just start seeing that progression. And or sometimes even training people in the class, and they're just plodding along doing the thing and the training, and you're trying to invest in them, but you just start seeing a change. There's a little bit of a change, and you go, wow, they've got a bit of potential there. So then you start trying to like obviously nurture that and build that up as well. So everyone's different. Some people are more natural at picking stuff up. Some people are just really raw, but they've just got that passion, and they just push through. And you know, one of these guys who just walks forward, you're like, I could probably make them into something decent, you know. But you have to really want to do it as well, because as you know yourself, competing in jiu-jitsu, the nerves that are involved and the sacrifice and just everything else that goes along with competition, you have to really want to do it yourself. So there's no point me going, oh, I think you do really well. They've got to really want to do it, because when it gets really tough, they're going to probably find excuses not to do it. So I like them to sort of come to me and say, like, Steve, I think I really want to compete, and at least I know that's the direction I want to go in, and then we can start like developing a plan individually for them. Okay, should be doing these classes, and this is what you need to work on, and then start working towards that. And the cool thing is that I've got a really good coaches at the gym as well. So all my coaches are really switched on, we're on the same page, and that's what's really cool, is that everyone can help them out. It's not just me having to do it. Everyone's going to be able to help that person get to where they want to be.
Mm. So tell me about your coaches then. How did you find them? Or are these buddies of yours you grew up with, or people you had to go out there and search and recruit?
Because I've been going like 11 years, the majority of the guys in the gym are people I've taught from the start. Wow. So they've taught, they've competed, and they've worked their way up. So, yeah, I mean, we've got about, I say 9 or 10 coaches. Some of them are coming from outside and have come into the gym and brought a specific skill set. Some have been developed through the gym, and then they've got up to that certain stage where they're at that high level. But the cool thing about the ones you're building up or within the gym is that usually, because they've been in that community, they know the focus of the gym, and they know where we want to go to and how we want to deal with stuff, because everyone's got different ways of training. And I try and like celebrate that fact. We want to be on the same page of where we want to go to, but everyone's got their certain skill set. So it's really, yeah, I've got a really good group in the gym at the moment and really good coaches. So if I have to go away to say one championship with Courtney, I need to fly somewhere to people competing over East, I know I'm leaving it in good hands where they can look after the gym, you know.
That's awesome. That's good to hear. Now, the next thing I was going to ask you is that on your Instagram bio, you said that you were, I believe, the coach of the 2019 national MMA team. That's correct?
Yeah. That's the one that Singapore was talking about. Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. So tell me, I wanted to ask you, I know you briefly just mentioned it earlier on, but what was that whole experience for you like for you as a coach?
It was pretty, it's pretty awesome. Like, it's special because I got to take Courtney over as well. So I had one of my own students in there, but then you were looking after the team, and there was a couple of other coaches as well who was looking after the team, like good high level guys. And you had like all these different, you had Australia, US, Ukraine, all these, like, I think there's about 50 or 60 countries, I think, competed in it. And the cool thing about martial arts is that you got to help everyone out. So there's the Chinese team came over, but because of the pandemic, they had a struggle getting their coach over, and they didn't speak a word of English. So they asked us to step in and wrap the hands for the Chinese group. So wrap the hands, and we were talking through like a little phone translator thing, like just having a chat forward. And then they said, "Oh, can you coach in the corner as well? Can you help them coach the Chinese team?" So it was like just like sort of surreal things like that, where martial arts sort of goes across all these cultures and all these different countries, and you help everyone out. So even though I was there coaching the Australian team, you could help out like another country and another team to help them out, and it was just amazing. Then at the end, obviously, with her winning the gold and getting the one championship contract, you got to go to there. Then you went to see you went to go and see one championship live over there with a full crowd at the time, and it's just really cool. It was really cool experience to be over there, and something I won't forget. That's
awesome. So without getting into too much detail, I know we talked about Courtney. What, as a coach, is next for her? Does she have a fight booked, or is there anything coming up for the future?
It's hard with obviously the pandemic flying and stuff, but we've been over for one fight, but it was a bit you got to like sort of half the time, sometimes you got to accept because of the contract, you have to accept some of the fights. So we got a 2-week notice fight to fight Colby Northcutt. Do you know Sage Northcutt's sister? Have you ever heard of him
Yes.
before?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have. Yeah.
So we ended up going over to fight her, and it was the weight above. She's like she's a world champion karate girl. She's 6 foot tall. So it was a bit like last minute to go over there. And we went over there and we competed, and Connie did really well, but she got caught in a submission in the fight. So that was sort of like just got us into the one championship. So then we're waiting to hear for another offer now. I think something should be coming through pretty soon. And again, we'll have to fly over. You quarantine for a week in Singapore. You quarantine 2 weeks when you come back. So it's a big time frame to do it. But yeah, it's a great experience. It's a really cool experience. Just a bit weird with the pandemic going over there, but it's cool. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. It is an unprecedented time. I mean, and it's a time also where we're in this weird phase now where we're going to these small temporary lockdowns where we get a couple of cases and then we head into like, I don't know, like a week, and then everyone's going to wear masks for a week, which I always thought was a bit strange because you see guys in doing BJJ and wrestling where they're literally face to face with each other, sweating onto each other, literally, and all that. And then you see people just working out with masks, and like, I don't see the logic. Anyway, without getting too much, now you speak very highly of your fighters and all that. And I just wanted to use this little bit of a moment for you to give a little bit of a branch out to them. Now you've got some fighters in internal, you got some fighters fighting at world champions. Who should we, as an MMA community, be keeping an eye out for right now? Some of the fighters in your gym for the rest for the time being.
Yeah, we've got like a lot of good guys coming through. We've got some amateurs coming up as well, like really good teams. And so obviously Courtney will be fighting soon on one championship, so it'd be good to support her because it's a WA girl as well. We've got the Jakowski brothers, Ryan and Frank. Frank's just turned pro. He was on a tear, like he was undefeated in his amateur. Just got one controversial defeat, and then he moved into pro, and he's just won his first pro debut. And then who else we've got? We've got heaps of guys. We've got Seb's just come over. He's fighting with us, had a fight with us now. He's one of our pro fighters. We've got Kev coming up. He's going on a tear through the amateur division now. He's got something big planned coming up. Rohan, Casey's coming up. Just so many guys at the gym. And then we've got all the Thai boxing guys who are coming through, who there's the girls and the guys who are undefeated and looking for matches, and jiu-jitsu guys are like competing on the weekend like yourself, and they're going on a bit of a tear as well, like they've got getting gold medals, silver medals, so it's lots of people to look out for. It's hard to say. I don't know like I'll name some people and I'm going to forget some people. It's hard to remember everyone, but there's lots to come through. But yeah, I mean, Kev Cophammel's doing really, really good. He's in his amateur at the moment. He's just got one defeat, and he's gone a bit of a tear going through people. So he's going to be going pro at some point. I'm just excited to get the new guys through as well. Some new guys fighting on the Domination MMA coming up. Got some guys on there. Some first timers. Eternal, they've got a pro card in October, so I'll have a few guys on that, and then lots of good stuff. So some stuff in Melbourne I'm supposed to have on, but whether that goes ahead or not, I'm not sure. Yeah,
it's a very weird situation right now over east, and especially in New South Wales. And I have been interviewing some fighters over east, and they're telling me, it's absolutely nuts. Like they can't even walk down the street, and it's irritating for them because we're a fighter, they've always got so high energy, and to be forced to stay at home, you have to like take your training home, and you can't see your sparring partners, you can't see your mates, and those are the people that help build you up. And so I understand the situation. Moving away from all that now, obviously from the conversation we've had, you seem like an extremely busy person with a lot of responsibility, but I wanted to ask that, how do you balance all of this? Like, so if you don't mind me asking, are you married? Do you have children?
Yeah. So yeah, so I'm married. I've got a daughter who also trains at the gym. She actually flies out tomorrow to the Paralympics. She's competing for Australia. So
Oh, what
she's
event?
100-meter track. So it'll be
Wow.
she's competed at Worlds before in the wheelchair, and then she goes on to compete on the Paralympics, which is a massive thing. So obviously we're all behind her for that one as well. She'll compete on the 28th and 29th of August. Yeah, so we've got her going now, but she's a bit older now. Yeah, and then my wife at home as well. So yeah, it's hard to balance everything, to be fair, but you just try your best and try and plan everything as much as you can, even though some things don't go to plan. So the hardest bit about this job, I think, is trying to plan dates and competitions and things like that. So I'm trying to plan events in the gym, trying to plan, like running a gym, and trying to make sure everyone's going along and everyone's progressing in the gym. Then I'm trying to get fights for the guys, and Perth's only small. There's only so many we can get here. Sometimes you've got to go over east, and I'm planning all these fights over east, and they're all getting cancelled as well at the moment. So I mean, it's happening to everyone. It's affecting everyone. I can't really complain. Like I'll be doing really well, but yeah, it's just trying to plan. I have my little whiteboard and I put all my dates on and stuff, and make sure I don't double book things, and trying to get my times. And I just like to be organized week by week. So like when I know who I'm doing training with, which fighters am I training with, which PTs am I doing, what structure I'm doing for my classes, and it makes it a lot easier. Otherwise, you're trying to plan day by day. It's quite hard,
Mm-hmm. Okay, so even though you say it's hard to plan day by day, but if it's all cool, roughly, can you give me like a typical daily structure for you? Do you have like a routine that you follow each day, or is there certain things you got to do each day?
It is, but it varies from day to day. So like every week I've got certain fighters that I work with at certain times of the day during the week. Obviously, do the classes as well. But I'm like, okay, I'm going to work with you at this time on a certain day, and we're going to cover this skill set because you need to improve this, or you're competing someone to counter that technique that they've got. So we're planning that way. So each fighter's got a different skill set they need to work on. Someone's a really good kicker, but the footwork's not good, or they're really good boxing and that guy. So we're going to structure it that way, and I find it easier me doing one-on-one with them. And then when we come into the class, so we have small like group fighter classes, then I might work on a couple of principles of that for the, like, say, a couple of the fighters. Everyone's gonna get better from doing it, but I'm focusing on maybe a couple of the fighters in the class, and then it's going to change every week. So yeah, a typical week is that I've got all my classes that I teach. I plan my PTs week by week. So every Sunday I'll message them and say, right, these are the times I've got if you want to train. And then I have my fighters in at certain times. And then we're going to look at the weekends, because being an MMA gym, there's usually a fight every weekend. So like you got no social life. So if it's not jiu-jitsu, it's boxing. If it's not boxing, it's Muay Thai. If it's not Muay Thai, it's MMA. So there's always something on. Then you're doing sparring days as well. So you got to be prepared and think like, who needs to do this? This up and coming amateur needs to be doing more of this, and then this pro fighter needs to do this. So you just got to be as organized. So that's why I've got to use my other coaches as well, and be like, okay, so they're going to work with a certain fighter and do this while I'm working with a different fighter. So everyone's getting that one-on-one training. And I remember in the class, there's certain skill sets or principles we need to work on. So it's very hard to say what I do week by week in it, because it does change every week. There's certain things will be the same with the PTs and that, but and with the fighters, but everything's going to change a little bit every week, and the structure is going to change. The classes are going to be the same though, at the same times and everything.
Wow, man, that's far out. So much in a week. So, personally, I just want to ask you now, like, you're doing all this, you take care of all these people. Like, what about like time for yourself? Like, is there anything like you do as a hobby just to like relax, or does someone like you just go bam, 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 24/7, 365?
No, yeah, I do. I try and squeeze a lot into a weekend when I'm off. So like I spend time with the wife and my daughter, and then just family and stuff, and we'll catch up with friends on the weekend. That's just my downtime. But the good thing is that I opened the gym because I love the training. I love training. So
Mm.
at the moment, I've got this injury. I've had a couple of injuries, and a lot of wear and tear from doing it for so long. I'm trying to get over. But usually, I'll jump in. I'll be grappling with the guys. I'll do some sparring with them. When I'm in by myself, I do bag work and that. So what I enjoy doing is training. So like when I can be in the gym, I'm going to train. I'm going to teach. I love teaching. So I'm not really. I don't. Although it's tiring, it's very tiring. I don't feel like I'm working heaps, if you know what I mean, because I do enjoy it. I enjoy teaching, I enjoy training, and then on the weekend I'll just enjoy myself, and we'll just go out and do as much as we can. Then we start it all again on the Monday.
See, if you don't mind me asking, what can you tell me about your injuries?
Oh, where do I start? Now I've got heaps of injuries. A lot
Okay.
of wear and tear. So like, yeah, things in my shoulder, my elbows, knees. I get injections and stuff, and I get an injury in my pelvis at the moment, which is probably the worst one I've had, with is affecting my just affects everything. Anything with your core, like if you get a bad back or you get like your abdominals or your pelvis, like there's not a lot you can do because everything's engaging my abs. So I'm getting treatment at the moment. I'm having scans and injections there. So I'm sick of talking about it, to be fair. Like it's just because I get a lot of injuries, and I think it's just from the wear and tear. So if you get a lot of the guys who competed a lot when they were younger and they train a lot. We used to train like really hard when we were younger, and it was like some of it was a bit crazy and sometimes maybe too much. And now my body's sort of paying for that now. So it's just trying to maintain. So I just want to be able to maintain and be able to keep training and be able to keep teaching. So that's sort of where I'm at the moment.
Okay. So tell me about your training though. Like, how do you structure it if you've got, if you're an MMA coach and, you do jiu-jitsu, like what's like a typical training block week to week for you?
So for me, I'll try and, as again, this block's not happening at the moment because I'm injured. But usually, like I'll try and get in 2 or 3 jiu-jitsu a week where I'm going to be able to do some like drilling or some rolling with the guys. I usually try and get a couple of days a week to do bag work and maybe some conditioning with it, and then maybe try and get some sparring at least once a week, get some sparring in. I'm getting a bit older now, but I do like to jump in with the sparring with the lads as well. So that's usually my week. And some of the guys are really good. As I say, we help each other out. Some of the fighters I've trained up, they'll offer their whole pads for me and things like that. So I can do pads within the gym as well. So I'd say probably an ideal week, if I wasn't injured, would be like three or 4 times jiu-jitsu and 3 or 4 times striking. I'll try and get some every time I do the training. I've got this mobility workout that I do at the beginning, and it takes me about 25 minutes just because I never used to do it when I was younger, and now I'm paying for it. So now I try and like just get the body moving and get the mobility going before I train every time now. And I try and tell the younger fighters to do this, but again, I never listened when I was younger, and again, I'm paying for it now. So now I just got to make sure that everyone's trying to be on the same point. And I think a lot of people are more switched on now with all the stuff on the internet and all this education out there with what's important for training. And if you're looking at the, say, UFC fighters, for instance, how smart some of them are training now, it's more scientific. I think more people are switched on now. It's not really old school training. Mm-hmm. So hopefully they won't get as bad injuries when they're older.
Yeah, I definitely get what you mean. I'm always, especially when it comes to mobility work as well, always stress the importance of a warm-up, especially in terms of like specificity, because everyone's got a certain body, everyone's like got a certain body type, limb length, everybody's got different paths and different injuries and different weaknesses. If you're not doing a warm-up that's very specific to your needs and attention, then you're really not going to have like from a PT perspective, if someone comes in and I have a completely different warm-up, if it was for a squat day or for a bench day or for a deadlift day, it should be the same for if you're going to do jiu-jitsu or you're going to do, kickboxing or boxing or whatever. That's definitely, when you tell me, okay, I got a 25-minute mobility, I was like, that's good. That's standard. That's the way to go. I wanted to ask you, because I am also a strength coach, like what do you do specifically for strength and conditioning?
For myself or fighters?
For yourself.
For myself, it's more like prehab I do at the moment. Like I'm not really, because I don't really compete unless I compete in jiu-jitsu. I'm not competing anymore. I just want to maintain. So I just do some like where I used to do a lot, because I used to be I'm a qualified PT myself. I've got a sports science qualification and things like that. So that's
Very
my
nice.
background. And then, so like I know what I'm doing in my body, but like I got to do more prehab stuff to make myself healthy, so I can do a bit of training, I can maintain, I can hold pads all day, where it's going to take wear and tear on my body. So just stuff to maintain. So my mobility work, strength work to strengthen up certain muscle groups, because as you know from, say, doing kickboxing, for instance, there's certain muscle groups that will not fire as much. You overuse certain muscles and you don't use as much other ones. So I'm trying to like maintain like more posterior stuff, as opposed to, because we're really anterior, like, but the shoulders, we've got the rolled shoulders forward like this. We get problems with our shoulders, we get problems with our hip flexors, the glutes don't fire. So I'm trying to sort of maintain and like strengthen those opposite muscle groups, because like the other ones get overused when I'm hitting the bag all day. That's what I try and do. Again, I try to do that. So if I did it very well, maybe I wouldn't be this injured. So
I'll say there's one thing I hope you can take from me from this whole interview, and personally for me as a coach, is there's no such thing as too much posterior chain work. There is no such thing.
Yeah.
I honestly, that we've proven before, like weakness in the posterior chain can result in a more higher chance of injury in front of the body and all that, because of the idea that the posterior chain is meant to uphold the front of the body. Anyway, man, just before unfortunately we're sort of running out of time, but I just want you to use the last few minutes to give out, to ask you, is there any shout outs you want to give? Is there anybody you want to extend your gratitude before we wrap this up?
Just all the team at the gym that helped me out. Like Wolves Den team's really good. And that's not just the coaches, that's all the guys who train in the gym, the fighters, they all help me out. Obviously my wife putting up with my stuff at home, being out all the time. And then just everyone just helping me out. I don't want to really individualize one person, like, because it's really a team effort that helped me and be able to run the business as I do, and be able to build up these guys and these girls to at what level we're at. So just the whole team there would be amazing.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Dave. I really appreciate you taking the time, and I hope to see you on Sunday, man. Appreciate it.